I'll keep recording until the day when it becomes abused, where people are like, I'm just going to watch the video, I don't know. I'm going to work on English today. Then the video stops. And then it doesn't happen anymore. So keep that in mind. I've had a couple people from previous years do that. They're like, I'm not going to pay attention to class, so let's watch it later. I got to work on English, I got to get science done and whatnot. That's the last day I do videos. So, because it's not required. So, real quick, you guys are in period 8. You guys are in here until 12:55. You want to watch the clock. So 12:55, there you go. Period 9 is your next class. After period 9, everyone has to report down to the auditorium. We have an all-school assembly. I think Mrs. Miller is going to introduce herself. Mr. Casper, our new superintendent, will introduce themselves. They're going to talk you through a couple things. Then they're going to dismiss you guys to your individual classes. Like seniors have graduation meetings, and there's homecoming meetings, and there's school pictures for the non-seniors. And then there's like rings and all that good stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff going on, and they'll have you rotate depending on what you're going to. So at 1:30 though, everyone reports down to the assembly in the auditorium. So now, before we begin, if you have not already, I think there's only one back there. I want you to stand up and go put your cell phones in the caddy. Go do it now. Go. I don't want them on you. Go put them back there. Here you go. Let's just take care of it now. I don't want them on your persons. If you don't have a cell phone, no worries. Put them back there.
He said, should I do an ASMR? I did have an Apple actually. I could be like. Ward, can I do an ASMR into the mic? Well, what? Can I do an ASMR into the mic? That's why
that'd be weird. No. Just rustling paper. No. All right.
If I had nails like that.
Okay, so thank you for that. Every day when you walk in, just drop the cell phone in there. I don't want to have to become that person that has to check, but if I notice there's none back there, I'm going to have to start doing that. So just put them back there. I don't want them on you. Smartwatches, you can leave them on your persons. I don't care. But on test days, I want those off. I know they're kind of limited what they can do. I still don't want a smartwatch on you if you have one. So there you go. Every day, don't question it. Just walk in, put it in there, go sit. Now, this year is normal, so I don't have to do rows anymore, so I'm just going to do my normal seats. So I'm going to switch up the styles of desks where you sit a lot. So just be aware of that every day. It'll be a different seat. And then eventually, the seating chart for you guys eventually goes away because you guys are seniors and I don't want to have to regulate it. So unless it becomes a problem. So now, the textbook you guys are going to be getting tomorrow is this. That'll be tomorrow. I'll check those out tomorrow. We don't have enough time today. There is no online version. And there's not even a weird, janky website I can give you for that. There's none. So you'll get them tomorrow. They're individually numbered. So don't try to trade it off to somebody else. So when you get it tomorrow, put a book cover on it. Some of them will come with book covers, some will not, depending on how bad they were treated last year. So sorry, if you don't want it, you got to put a new one on there. That's one of our first assignments of the year. Let's get through that. The only thing that you guys need to know is for Model and Mentor, we will have a lot of teachers and other admin in this room every now and then. So I think you just got to worry about. We didn't do that too much last year, but this year they said they're going to. So class materials, these are non-negotiables. You got to bring the class or day. Obviously, you're going to need your textbook because there's no online version. So you have to bring the textbook. Don't ask in the hall, just bring it. Pencil, not a pen unless it's one of those cool erasable ones. No crayons, markers, right with a normal pen or pencil. Notebook, you do need a dedicated notebook. This class can get pretty challenging. There's some times where it can be frustrating. But it's not as big of a leap as let's say geometry to algebra was. Pre-calc and calc there's a lot of topics that go hand in hand. You're going to see these first couple weeks, we're going to talk about a lot of just pre-calc stuff to get you kind of warmed back up. We're going to talk about logarithms again. Stuff where I just know that people weren't comfortable with that test. So I know some people weren't comfortable with this. We got to cover it again. So, but you do need a dedicated notebook, not loose paper. People cannot survive this class if you're just living out that loose paper and you don't have it organized. Calculator, these are still fine. Don't go buy an expensive one. I know college, they expect you to for calc, they expect you to have a big TI 84. You don't need to go buy one of these things. The reason why is that everything we do, we can mostly get away with that, or I'm going to provide you the online calculator like I did last year. So I'll give you the links to this. It's free. It's on your Chromebook. Now, obviously, when we get to a test, you won't be able to use the online calculator. So there'll be certain things you have to do by hand or with one of these. So there's little things I'll try to teach you, but this is kind of handy because it's free and it does everything like those big calculators can. You guys got a little bit of experience with that last year in pre-calc, so it was kind of nice. I gave you kind of a warm up to how to use that stuff. We'll review that again. Now the textbook, It was $174 as of Amazon this morning. And I had to buy 10 of those 2 weeks ago. 10 because we only had about 15 textbooks and there's now 23 in here. So about a couple extras in case we have some more. So they're expensive. Don't lose them. Some of them are brand new, some are not. You can probably tell the ones I just purchased. So don't lose them because they're kind of expensive. It's probably the most pricey book I have this year. 754 pages, leave them in there, don't rip anything out. These books are significantly like skinnier than those pre-calc books, so they don't break at the seam. They kind of look more, I don't know, I don't think I have any, I don't have a version yet. So, but anyway, there's 11 chapters, we don't cover all 11, we bounce around. Expect chapters 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8, and then there's some like kind of scattering of things that we'll do. And I don't go in order, I'll jump around. There's some things that are outside the textbook that we have to cover because the book doesn't cover it, that you need to have for Calc 1. So that kind of gives you like first semester or second semester kind of a time frame, but again, I'm outside the textbook. Now this year, I am going to do book assignments. I am going to do some worksheets, going to do some Google Forms, so I'm not just limited to non-paper stuff this year. That's kind of nice, so I can kind of get a good range. I know that Slater is going to be kind of heavily used. Just remember, it's nice to check answers on the Slater, but not to just copy them, because there's certain things when I assign it, like I only ask you to do certain things on the assignment. Like, here's what I want just this piece on the assignment. Like, this is what I want you to show me. And then I can tell when people use Slater, because they copy everything Slater says, and it was like above and beyond anything I even asked you to do the first time. So it's a huge red flag to me. And again, like I warn every year, the person who runs Slater, not very good at mathematics, whoever it is. So sometimes they get a lot of wrong answers, sometimes they don't. It's kind of hit or miss depending on the assignment. So just be aware of that. It's nice to check, but don't trust it explicitly because sometimes they are wrong. They are. I found that out because I always check the site to see what they're telling people, what the answers are. So now, calculators. Obviously, the little $5 things still work. They're fine. Don't go buy the monstrosity, that $189 TI-89 Platinum. You can't even use it in college. They ban it from all colleges. Don't buy it. It's pointless. For $189, you can buy a used iPad, download the Texas Instrument app, and still does more than that than you can. So don't do it. Little $10 ones, I think that's the new updated one. And then this was the one that you'll need for college, or the thing that I showed you, that weird black one. So they're the 84s. But that's if you go to college level, they will require that you have one. So that's why, like this year, I'm going to show you how to use that stuff, because if you go to a college level, let's say you're going to take an engineering course, you're going to do some upper level math, maybe for statistics or business, because business calc or ag calc is incredibly difficult. Like, I don't understand why. The normal like calc 1 is a lot easier than ag or business calc. I don't know why. They just cover some weird topics, and they're not things I'm used to seeing. Classroom expectations, you guys know the drill. Quiet learning environment. With 23 of you in here, 22 right now, but that's a lot of people on a calc course. I've never had a calc course this big. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome, but it's concerning if like we have like 2 or 3 conversations, now it's too loud. So just be aware of that. Respect your classmates. You guys don't have a problem. You guys pretty much like each other, but just don't become a distraction for people, because that's tough when we're covering a topic that people want to rip their hair out because it's getting kind of tough. Take responsibility. This is big, right? Should be my number 1. It's super personal education, right? No one can learn something for you. You got to soak it up yourself. So challenge yourself. This class can get tough, but you know me, I'm going to try to spoon feed you as much as I can until you figure it out. But we're going to have to rely on asking questions, relying on your neighbors. There's just lots of stuff that we have to cover. So tomorrow we're starting day 1. We're starting on stuff. We're starting notes. We're going to cover. I think tomorrow we talk more about like Algebra 2 pre-calc stuff. So it's more like a review just for a little bit. Classroom policies. I don't like disrupt your behavior. If I assign assignments, they are due on the due date. I'm only giving you guys 10 days before I cut it off and say it's 0, and you don't get to redo it. So 10 days. That means when you do when you actually redo an assignment, it's due within that 10-day period. So because this class, we move on to topic every other day, you won't have time to figure it out. So you're gonna have to be on the ball. I still give you time in class to work because you need to ask questions and work with your neighbors who probably can maybe explain it differently than me because you guys are on the same wavelength. I know the material, but you guys can like just say the few words that somebody needs to hear and then they're like, oh, why did Ward just say that? Well, because I know I just don't know what you need to hear, or maybe I thought you would just figure that out. So, you're assigned a textbook, they're individually numbered. Make sure you pay attention to that. Some of them are brand new, you'll notice the new ones. Seating arrangement for a while. You guys eventually let molds away and you just notice I don't give you the seating chart anymore. But the desks will still keep changing. Cell phones, expect them in the caddy. No question. Like, don't do the thing where you just keep them in your pocket because then it becomes a distraction. You guys are checking it all the time. Disabilities, challenges, let me know. You know I'm hard of hearing, that's why I talk loud, but it's one of those things you gotta let me know. So I don't get the parent-teacher conference and figure out you couldn't see the board. Cheating not tolerated. Cheating is anything where you're not putting any mental effort, but you're getting an answer. That's, you know, you're going to Slater, you're just copying your neighbor's stuff at study hall or senior study hall. Don't do it, it's not helping you. I can tell the red flags. You're giving me too much of an explanation and an answer because you just copied it from Slater and it wasn't anything I asked you to do. Or you're getting 100% of your homework and then suddenly you bomb my test. That's a red flag because the test was the homework questions that you said you got 100% on. So like, what happened? Because I just copied and pasted. I didn't make up a new question. So, it's a huge red flags. Too much to handle, too bad, so sad. Figure it out. Life's tough, wear a helmet. Homework, 2 to 3 assignments a week. What?
I was just asking you a question.
2 to 3 assignments a week. 10 to 15 pounds. Sometimes it'll be significantly less because with calc, sometimes this takes a while for some of these problems. So, just like pre-calc. I'm going to do Google Forms, I'm going to do worksheets, I'm going to do things out of your book. A little bit different than last year. Last year I tried to stick only online because they didn't want paper and spreading COVID with people touching other people's paper. But this year they just expect it to be normal. So they tell me otherwise. Late work can be done within a small time frame, 10 days or less. I will not accept it after 10 days. I'm going to have a calendar on my desk that I'll write down assignments and when the due date is. So that way I can kind of tell like, hey, this assignment's due and you can't turn it in past this date. So be aware of that because this class can get tough and you will not pass if you can't get the homework done. But try to find time or make time that you always work on it constantly till you get it finished. And turn it in when you get it done so you don't lose it. Test quizzes, obviously you can retake all my tests one time, each test one time. But if we do a pop quiz, you're not allowed to retake those. Pop quizzes are pop quizzes for a reason. I want to see what you know that day, not what you know 2 days from now. So. But yeah, so expect that. Grading policy is still 90s or A's, 80s or B's, 70s or C's, 60s or D's, and anything below a 60 is an F. The grading policy quarters 40-40-20 rule until the admin tells me otherwise. If they say it needs to be 45-45-10, I'll go to that. But right now they said just generic 40-40-20. Gradebook still has 3 categories. Homework still 55%. If you're that person like, I don't do homework, you're not passing because it's 55% of your grade. Quiz is still 40, so you still can't pass if you bomb every test. So there's a little catch there, and then participation. You gotta be awake and participating, because this class can get tough if you're not paying attention every day. And obviously it's actually a nice thing to have more people in the room because now you have people that will figure it out and help others. Because if you only have a class of like 10, you might think that's awesome because you get more one-on-one, but then that means that's significantly less chances somebody will figure it out if there's something challenging. So it's nice you guys have a big class. You guys can rely on each other, plus ask questions. Okay, website, still gonna do it, still gonna use it, MrWord.org. GHV Math is probably the one that most people use, GHVMath.com. I don't know if it's hsmath.com or .org. It's one of them, but it's gotta take me to the website. I'll still record, as you guys can tell. I'll post it until it becomes a problem, where people are abusing it. It has no ads, I don't collect any revenue. There's no like accounts you have to make for it, just the videos are there, the homework's there. And I'll keep posting to JMC as well. So JMC will just have the outline of what we did and the link probably to my website. And then the website will have like the class video and the PowerPoints and downloads for worksheets. And so this is like the prettier end. But again, it's just the same as always. I just really just update just each year, the videos and whatnot. So yeah, I'll post those each night. It won't probably be live until the morning. You just click clear on that. So like if you're like looking at it at 8 o'clock at night, it might not be there yet. Because I haven't got the chance to sit down, I'm still taking care of my kids. So, just to be honest, I'm probably not gonna look at it until pretty late. So, but it'll be there by the next morning. So, yeah. Questions? That's all I got. Tomorrow we'll check out books and we're gonna start notes. So bring your stuff tomorrow. So.
Randall, you got any,
Mr. Ward, is a superior of that.
Or can I go print out something in the library?
I didn't know I was
you had, like, 60 sheets of paper.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, Ward. 55. That's good. I didn't even know what was on that.
Mr. Ward, that one to Mr. Oldham.
Logan, why'd you put them in the box?
You got 10.
You want to grab mine? Easiest.
Don't worry, I'll be here for bed anyway.
Yeah, we had 2 hours of nothing. I got physics. First period, we saw stuff. Oh, you thought that was kind of. No, I thought no, just do like that was
Even if it's Kenny was late to the first day of school.
I had.
I don't know if it was on the same day.
You already emailed me. You were
It doesn't really work on me.
Maybe figure that out.
Friday.
Oh, she's coming back.
He was in crying that like to come down and talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
No, I was.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. I don't just break me and shit.
Indy won't let me quit. Indy won't let me be a manager.
One time.
Okay.
Logan doesn't like when people
seen
play.
Oh, dude, I hate
like,
when Logan gets played because he uses projectiles and anything with projectiles. But like with core and neutral, you know, stand like standard, you know.
1122.
You know, stand.
Brady not quit?
No stand and stuff. Yeah, it's that.
But Anderson says,
You're insane.
These are kind of so much fun. Specifically R&D.
If it's just that it's not like.
Dude,
just
play hero.
cemetery.
Just play hero.
Why'd you do that? Because it's the easiest way to get to 11 together.
Dude, okay.
Are you serious?
Because it might cost more.
Are you serious?
But if you did more than that, if you did like.
Let's go party.
Sometimes that costs, as opposed to just pretty much.
We're registered.
She shouldn't let you do that.
Like speed and just go right off the edge.
Oh yeah, I'll hop in the bike.
There's so many
I'll
characters
see
you
myself.
like.
I'm really standing every single button.
Because it's a special